You know, the story of the book is both my parents passed away from cancer back to back, and it took me on a deep dive on epigenetics and genetics and the study of like what stress does to the body and how it can trigger disease.
Is what we crave for the most. We all want to do it, but we've never really been taught how.
This man is an agent, he's a producer, he's been in Hollywood for over 20 plus years. He's also an author of an Amazon bestseller, Shut the F Up Method.
Written by author Jorge Perez. He wrote this book with the catalyst of losing both his parents.
Do you think your parents' cancer was from stress?
I do. I think it's like we keep lowering our immune system because we're constantly talking about issues, and eventually, you know, the body like it slips you the bill.
How do you look for something great when your parents have cancer?
Well, I'll tell you what did happen towards the end, because my mom, her whole life, she was always so scared. She would even tell you, I'm too scared to do this. And at the end, she ended up being the bravest person in the world because she kept going with all these treatments and she wouldn't stop. The plane was going down.
Wow.
And it was super vivid.
Wow.
And all of a sudden, as it was going down,
So give a massive fucking round of applause for gorgeous Jorge Perez. Get on your feet.
Please give it up to the incredible Marissa Pierce. I feel like I don't have to say anything anymore. Thank you. That was like the best comedy opener that I've ever seen. I am so excited to be with you today, the day of love, right? And what a privilege it is. And I have a very simple and powerful invitation for you. And I'm not attached to it, but I have so much passion about it, which is that we stop leaving money on the table when it comes to the quality of our lives because of the way we talk. The way we talk about the world, the way we talk about our friends, and especially the way that we talk about ourselves. And before I start, I do want to bring up an incredible singer, Cecilia, and we're gonna lead everyone into a beautiful coherence meditation. Is that cool? Yeah. You're in for a real treat. And please close your eyes, sit up, and let's take 3 deep breaths, in through your nose and out through your mouth. Now I want you to see a beautiful golden light, a dot in your heart, in your beautiful heart that has been with you, taking care of you every day of your life. Now feel the warmth of this beautiful dot, this light, and feel it growing inside your heart into every single space in your heart. Now feel this golden light exiting your heart and going into every single organ, every single body part, your lungs, your throat, your eyes. This beautiful golden light now leaves your body and starts mixing with everybody's golden light in this room, achieving love and coherence. So we're all one heart, one mind. This light now goes into the streets of Amsterdam, healing everybody, giving everybody hope, giving everybody faith, giving everybody love. This light now continues into all of Amsterdam, bringing unity, bringing peace to everyone. This light now goes into all of Europe, creating coherence, creating justice, creating peace among people, among animals, among everything. This beautiful golden light now continues and starts to cover the whole planet, bringing that beautiful, needed peace and love into all of our planet, creating justice, creating generosity, creating love. Now this beautiful light continues and goes into the universe, into all of the planets, in the solar systems and beyond. All we see and feel is this beautiful golden light that's covering it all, making it one mind as it continues and goes into the stars, which is what we're all made of. We're all made of stars. Feel this light and feel this blueprint of coherence that you can access any time of your life to bring you back home. Breathe through it and feel it. Feel it bringing you everything that you've ever wanted and longed for. This beautiful white light, this beautiful golden light now comes back to your heart. Bringing so much love into your heart. A love that now you know how to access in every situation of your life. You've been coated with a level of coherence that will never leave you, that will stay with you forever. Now feel it, and let's take one last deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And as we're all one, slowly, very slowly, open your eyes. Thank you. Please give it up to our incredible Cecilia. Cecilia, can you take this one? Can you guys hear me okay? Yes. Okay, awesome. Well, how's that? Are we all on the same page now? Okay, so this is my baby. The shut the fuck up method. I feel like we should be playing a drinking game now with that word, right? We'll be all really wasted about 2 minutes. And this has been such an incredible journey, and I can't wait to get into the story of how it all came together. Okay, a little bit of who I am. I have been a Hollywood agent for the past 20 years. Don't judge me. And it's been an amazing ride. I've had the honor and privilege to, work in deals with people like Brad Pitt and Gwyneth Paltrow and Jennifer Aniston, and they all definitely taught me how to shut the fuck up. That's how it all started. I've also attended about 18 retreats with Dr. Joe Dispenza. Do you guys know who Dr. Joe Dispenza is? He's the most incredible mentor I've ever had. I do some corporate speaking, and I've been in the personal development industry for about 20 years. And most importantly, I'm a very, very proud son. So here's my why. Both my parents did pass away from cancer, and I'll tell you a little bit about that story. It kind of happened back to back. The most poignant day for me was March 13, 2022 at 4:20 a.m., which is when my mom died in my arms. She fought a long battle with breast cancer that metastasized to her brain. And I remember everything so vividly. The hospice nurse woke me up. She said, "Can you hold her? The breathing is stopping." And it completed that journey. And After that, there's a protocol. They come, they take the body. I rushed out, and I remember they were carrying the body out, and I told the guy that was carrying the body, I was like, hey, what would you do if I lost my shit? And he paused, and he put the body down, and he goes, if that was my mom, I would be losing my shit too. And it was such a beautiful, I'll never forget that moment. I've never told anybody about that moment, and I hugged her, and I said, I will see her soon. My dad also happened to have died 3 years before that from leukemia. I was his stem cell donor, but the stem cells didn't work because the chemo had deteriorated the body too much. When both of your parents die of cancer back to back, a couple of interesting things start to happen. One of them is that people become really, really nice. Super nice. I like that part. The other one is that everyone starts treating you like you're genetically screwed. And people will be like, wow, so both of them, the cancer, what are you going to do? And I was like, I don't know. And that's when I got into epigenetics, which is a study of what stress does to the body. And I really got intrigued and obsessed with genetics. And what I found out was just incredible, right? What I found out was that genetic predispositions are like Christmas lights. You can have Christmas lights in your house, but if you don't light them, nothing happens. So what lights are genetic predispositions? Being in a constant state of fight or flight stress. Studies are now showing that people are living 70% of their lives in fight or flight stress, and that's just not sustainable for the human body. That's how we're starting to see the epidemic of neurological diseases and obviously also cancer. I got really into the work. I started studying with great masters like Dr. Joe, and this is when I had an epiphany, and I believe that I found a glitch in the system. I was at a neuroscience conference, and the speaker was talking about the observer effect, which is we impact what we see by our observation, right? And he was talking about how when you put your attention on, energy grows. So if you put your attention on life is great, welcome to that. If you put your attention on life sucks, welcome to that. And then we went on break, and I started noticing participants and volunteers and staff all complaining and gossiping and doing exactly what he was telling you not to do. And I remember that I told my friend that I was with, I was like, oh my God, no one's doing anything right here, everyone's crazy, like no one's paying attention. And he was like, well, what are you gonna do about it? And I said, I'm gonna write a book, and it's gonna be called Shut the Fuck Up. And that was the genesis of the book. Look. That's me as an AI, a little confused. Okay, so what is the shut the fuck up method? It's not about staying quiet. It's about using mindfulness before we speak. So what I want to invite everyone here is to become the kind of people, you know that scene when you're about to throw a pebble in that still lake? What if before we throw the pebble, we actually think about the ripples, right? What if before asking your friend who you know is fighting with his girlfriend, how he's doing with her, we wait until he tells us? What if we become the shepherd of conversations in people's lives? So again, it's not about repressing at all. It actually is about lowering the volume on the things that we don't want to experience and highering the volume on everything that's great in our life. And I'll go deep into that in the whole method. So I figured, if I'm gonna create a method, I need to do it like God. So I created the 10 commandments of the shut the fuck up method. Why not, right? And I'm gonna go through all of them. Some are gonna take longer than others. So if I'm taking too long on one, don't freak out because the clock's ticking and I know what I'm doing. Okay, commandment number 1. If you're gonna talk shit about someone, don't use their name. Use my friend. So I'm not even telling you not to gossip or any of that. This is like your greatest training wheels. But how about we start injecting anonymity when we tell stories about people? Because we so innocently destroy reputations. And this could be like so harmless, right? This could be stuff that we do as friends. So I'm gonna try a little, can I have the mic, please? You two, can you two lovely ladies stand up really quick? Hi, what's your name?
Cecilia.
Nice to meet you. And your name?
Kika.
Okay, so Cecilia, Kika, and I are the three best friends, the three amigos, right? But you know, lately I'm having lunches with Cecilia and I'm noticing that she keeps forgetting her credit card. You know, silly Cecilia. And I'm like, yeah, you got me today. I'm like, yeah, girl, I got you. All good. And then I'm having dinner with Kika on another night where Kika starts telling me how generous Cecilia is and how she's always paying for everything and never lets her pay. And at that moment, I'm like, what the? Right, so here's that moment, right? Here's that pebble moment. Because two birds can be killed with one stone. Because if I go, what are you talking about? She's the cheapest person. So now I'm assassinating her character, right? But I'm also assassinating Kika's experience. Because just because I have a dynamic like that with her, it doesn't mean Kika has it. So I guess what I'm inviting you is like, how can I be my sister's keeper? And I can have my dynamic with Cecilia, but why am I going to ruin it for Kika? So in that moment, I'm like, yeah, that's great. She's paying for your lunches. That's great. And then here's the thing. I don't repress, right? I go to the source, and I call Cecilia the next day, and I go, girl, from now on, it's walks on the park and sandwiches on the beach. Because I'm done with the credit card and the lunches. And then she'll be like, okay. And their dynamic stayed intact. Does that make sense? Okay, great. You were two amazing. Please take a seat. Okay, so now we're gonna play a little game. So remember, the commandment is, don't use their name, use a friend. So here's the game. I want you to pick an A or a B, an A and a B right next to you. And A is going to read the statement to B, and B is going to answer, and then you're going to switch it up. We're just going to take a few seconds. It's not that hard. And the statement is, my friend Maria is always telling me about her husband, and I'm tired of hearing about it. How would you answer that, or how would you say that statement using commandment number 1? Ready? Turn to your neighbor. It'll get very, very clear, trust me. Okay, anybody want to take a crack at the statement? It's a tough one, huh? You know, I see a lovely woman in the orange that is dying to answer. Oh, she was? Okay. Great.
Took us a minute. My friend is always telling me about her husband, and I'm tired of hearing about it.
Mind blown. Can I have a round of applause? God, it's the day of love and brains today. Okay. Commandment number 2, I hear you. You will not engage in gossip except to say, I hear you. Wow, really? Unbelievable or interesting. So, in other words, what language can we use that's deflective, right? But also allows you to hear that person. Because I do believe listening to people is the most beautiful act of kindness that one can do. So now, let's take a crack at the game as well. Pick an A and a B, and you're going to answer using the commandment. And the statement is, did you see how Carlos looked the other night? He looked like a clown, right? All right, turn to the person next to you and tell me how this would sound. All right. Who wants to take a crack at this one? Raise your hand so we can have the amazing microphone people find you. Oh, we got one right there in the yellow.
I would say thank you for sharing your perspective.
Thank you for sharing what?
Your perspective.
Exactly. There you go. Can I have a round of applause for the gentleman in the yellow? Exactly. Listen, again, how can we find that middle ground, right? Where you can have the person be heard, but we're also not throwing kerosene or gasoline into the conversation. I have a feeling everybody here knows what they're doing. So let's go to the next one. Okay, commandment number 3 is, if you have a problem, tell one person or your therapist, okay? Now, when I say one person, it doesn't need to be one. It could be 2 or 3 or 4, but maybe not 20, but maybe not 30. Because a lot of times we think we're getting things off our chest, but we're actually not. We're giving in to our emotion, to our addiction of complaining. Okay? So complaining is very connected to our fight or flight mechanism, whose only job is to make us survive and keep us safe. So it thinks that the more people that we tell, the safer we're going to be in that conversation. But it doesn't. It actually stresses us out more. And the big mic drop about the fight or flight system in general is that it's an alarm system that's trying to keep you surviving. But the only problem is that it's connecting you to stressful situations to help you know where the problem is, and that stress is the one that ends up killing you. So the very same alarm system that's trying to save you is by default killing you, okay? So when you create a container, when you minimize the network of conversations of the people that you talk about your problems, then another positive thing is like, once you solve that problem, you don't have a whole network. It's like you get into a fight with your partner, and then you tell everybody. And then let's say you forgive your partner. But you told like all your friends, and now your friends are not inviting you to different things. Your friends are, you got to clear it up with everybody, right? Instead of just like, oh, I told 2 or 3 people. Now it's like your cousin. It's like, wow, you forgave him? I don't think that's right. So all those, no, I don't think that's right, girl. He gonna do it again. So that scab that was beginning to form is now raw all over again, okay? So when I was making this commandment, I had a situation with a friend, and we decided to stop the friendship, and I completely understood her side. So immediately I was like, you know what? I'm gonna alchemize it and not tell anybody. But again, this is not about repressing. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna call a friend, and I'm gonna let it out. So I called a friend. He didn't pick up. I'm like, fine, I'll try calling another one. He didn't pick up either. And then I call a third. I'm like, wow, I'm really starting to doubt my friends in general. And no one picked up. And then in that moment, I said, okay, whoever calls me back is gonna be my one person. So I came up with this thing called my one person. My friend Carolina called me. And I said, all right, Carolina, you're gonna be my one person. And I let it rip. And she held space. And when you tell a person they're gonna be your one person, it's like the listening gets so heightened that they don't even have to give you advice. Just from their listening, you sort yourself out. And I told her my situation, I cried, and I felt great, and I'm good. Then the other 2 friends called me, and they're like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, no, I'm good, man. I have this thing where I tell one person, I already told them, and I'm good. And then they're like, well, I could be your other person. Nothing's gonna ignite curiosity more than that, right? And I said, no, I'm good. And in that moment also, again, kind of a 2-bird with 1 stone situation, I felt so proud of myself because I kept the reputation of this person contained, right? Because less people that know about what's going on. But I was also practicing what I was preaching. And we don't teach through advising or telling, we teach through example. And I knew at that moment, I was being the example of the commandment of telling just one person your problem. And hopefully they took it on. All right, commandment number 4. Speak with compassion about your own problems. This is my 15-year-old Chihuahua, Meester. And notice that all his little parts are covered, so this isn't weird. But he knew, right? He was like, beep. So about 4 months ago, Meester just started screaming like crazy. And in the middle of the night, and I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? So I go to the vet, and they start running all these tests, like pancreatic this and all. And about like $2,000 later, they still don't know. I'm like, this is great. I love this business. I should become a vet. And then it's like, you have a patient that can't talk? Run all the business. So I remember during that time, people were like, so what's going on? And again, it's like, it's not about repressing. So I was like, well, I'm okay. I was getting my dog sick. And then people were like, oh, what's going on? I was like, yeah, he's sick. And then I figured, imagine how we can tell stories about our lives, whether we didn't get that job or we had a breakthrough, but inject gratitude in them, right? So my story with him was like, you know what? We don't know what's going on, but he's 15 and he's given me so many amazing years. And of course, I want him to live till 30, but it doesn't take away of the gratitude that I have of what an amazing ride this has been so far. And I started noticing that when we start injecting that compassion, right? Like almost like if you're talking to your best friend, it completely changes our own narrative of our problem. So injecting compassion into our own narrative is the way to go. By the way, Meester, I don't know where, just stopped crying, and $2,000 later, and he's fine. Even though he didn't need it. Note to self, follow my instinct. I was like, I knew he was just acting it out. All right, commandment number 5. Listen generously and don't be the shut the fuck up police. So I once heard that the truest meaning of love is allowing someone the space for being, right? And that to me translates to listening, because listening to somebody is the most delicious form of love that one can give. So again, I don't want to strip any of the listening away. And yet I do believe in healthy boundaries, right? What I usually do, if somebody tells me a story twice, I'm like, okay, I'll let you say twice. And then, I got to part ways and go. We have 2 ears, we have 1 mouth. We could listen double, right? Most people, we don't learn through talking, we learn through listening. And listening generously is just about the greatest, kindest act that we could do to anyone. Commandment number 6, trust the process of your life. So, I want to tell you something right now. There's no one in the world that I would rather be with than with you guys right now. And you know why? Because I am with you guys right now. Anything other than this would be insane. So, trusting the process of our lives is knowing that every single step of the way, every single mistake, everything that you've done right has led you to this moment. And who doesn't want to be at Mindvalley right now? Woo! I mean, who wants to be at Mindvalley right now? You know what I meant. God, to think about life that way, right? Because the mind will say, "Lo, had you taken that job, had he said yes, she said no." But no, all that is science fiction. This is it. This moment is it. This moment, your life is like this incredible recipe that's made up from all these ingredients, right? Every heartache, every bad decision, every great decision, every mistake, every done right has been made into this recipe with all your ingredients. So the question is, would you risk this dish by changing one of the ingredients? No. This is the most perfect recipe, and it's called you, and it's called your life. Thank you. Thank you. I need to tell these things to myself a lot. Commandment number 7, remember that life is temporary. In the book I talk like most of us, we walk around like somebody's gonna be like, hey, Rola, aren't you like 120 years old? You're like, shh, don't tell anyone. We need to have a healthy relationship with our mortality, okay? And that doesn't mean that we're like, looking for funeral homes. That just means that I believe that the point in which we truly embrace life is when we know that we're just passing by. In fact, I had a friend that died of cancer. Days before she died, she told me that no one will ever live until they truly know that they're gonna die. And then life still feels important and passionate, but we don't take things too seriously, okay? Because at the end, regardless of what your faith is or whatnot, we're all just passing by. And that's something that we need to keep at the forefront of our mind. Commandment number 8, remember that millions of people would love to be in your shoes. Sometimes I say kill to be in your shoes. Because look at us all right now, right? Every single one of you, I don't care who you are, I don't care what your bank account looks like, what your love life looks like, what your kids are doing right now. Millions of people would kill to be in our shoes. And I think that that's what, if you ask me, the biggest epidemic that we all are suffering from is that we are moment discriminators. The moment is never good enough. The moment needs 3 more zeros in the bank account, a partner that's neater, a mother-in-law that's less this or more that, a kid. And at the end of the day, it's like, this is it, you know? A truck may come tomorrow and party's over. I just moved to Miami from LA a few months ago, and I used to do a lot of work with the homeless. And I used to love giving this kind of service for so many reasons, right? One of the things was like immediately when I would go there, it would just yank me out of any problem that I had in my mind, right? It would give me so much perspective about life. But then as I would serve, I would start really getting into the practice of it and think like, wow, if I start looking at these people and thinking like, oh my God, this is the worst thing that could ever happen to you. Like, look at the city's not taking care of you. Then I'm doing a disservice to me and I'm doing a disservice to them. But I started noticing that as I was looking at them and I was saying, wow, I don't know why you're going through this situation right now. I'll never really know. We don't have any data about maybe predetermined lives, maybe karma, whatever it is. But the point is like, right now, that person is allowing me to be the best version of myself, which is to be of service. So let me ask you a question. If somebody came into the room and asked all of us a question, right? Would you rather help or would you rather be helped? Raise your hand if you would rather help. Okay? And now raise your hand if you would rather be helped. Some selfish ones over there. Make a note. I'm just kidding. Well, we won't point fingers, but about 99% of us would want to help. But here's the problem. If we all want to help, then none of us would do that thing that we love to do, which is to help, to be of service. So in many ways, we need the people that want to be helped in order for us to fulfill our greatest plan, which is to help. The other thing that I would think about is like, man, here I am, like, you know, worrying about boats and cars and all these materialistic things. And for all I know, this homeless guy might be ready to go into nirvana. And this was his last stage. And they're a lot more evolved than I am. So these are just things that I think being of service is just the most impactful, most powerful thing that we could do. And that's what this whole, the Shut the Fuck Up method is really just a toolbox. It's really just a toolbox that's holding space for all these different tools that you need in your life, right? And just like if you're fixing a problem in your house, right? You have a house, and sometimes you have a roof that's leaking, sometimes the floor, the pipes, and then you need different tools for each thing, right? You need a screwdriver, you need a hammer, you need a wrench, and life will call the tool that you need to be used at that time, right? Sometimes the tool is empathy, sometimes the tool is compassion, sometimes the tool is love, and sometimes it's just acceptance. And they're all kind of mixed in with each other. They have the same flavor, and yet they have their own difference. Commandment number 9, you are not a reporter, you are a creator. I love this, except if you're a real reporter, like my friend Zane, then turns out you are a reporter. So I love this one. Has anybody here ever taken the Landmark Forum? Do you guys know what Landmark is? So Landmark is, it was a great personal development program that I did, and they had this term, which I quote in the book. It's called, most of us live by world word, right? So we see something in the world and we describe it, right? So the invitation is, how can we now become word world? Meaning we see something, meaning we speak into existence what we want to see, right? Because again, this method is not about repressing. It's about being intentional with what we say. You know, it's like, if you have $5 in your bank account, right? I'm not saying for you to go around saying, I'm rich. But guess what? You don't have to call your friends and tell them that you're broke either. Okay, so somebody could be like, hey, Carrie, how's it going with the money situation? You know, it's unfolding. Really, but how much money is in the bank account? You know, life's never failed me before. I don't think it's going to do that now. Statistically, it doesn't make sense. Yeah, but how close? Well, what are you talking? I feel that things, God bless you. I trust my life, and I trust the unfolding of it. And that's what this is about. You know, what starts to happen after a while, after you really become intimate with the method, is that I get more excited now, not from getting what I want, but seeing who I am when I don't get what I want. Okay? When the telemarketer calls and I don't want to kill him. When I'm at traffic and I'm like, it's okay, it's, you know? When things used to hit at a 10 and now hit at a 2. And again, I go deep more into things like meditation, things that really calm down and balance out our nervous system, which is super important as well. But these are very pragmatic tools that we can use in our everyday life for sure. Oh yeah, and in this one, I also talk about how, like, you know, when you're a reporter, like, well, here I am in my shitty house with my shitty partner with like my crappy this and all that. And let's minimize that volume and start speaking things into existence, into how we want them to be. Finally, this is my last commandment and my favorite, which is remember to shut the fuck up before telling anybody else to shut the fuck up. So here's the thing. If you got to tell anybody this, if you got to tell anybody to shut up, then you're not doing the work. Because everybody's doing exactly what they're supposed to do. The baby cries, the dog barks, and your friend is gossiping. What are you doing? You know? Because if we really get into the state of empathy about it, everyone gets a pass. And what I mean by that is that everybody is made up from all their genetics and their environmental things and everything that they've gone through. So how can we possibly think that they have the tools to be any different? And once we start, again, it's like a muscle. Once we start getting in the habit of that, then we stop fighting with reality. And again, not fighting with reality doesn't mean that you stay at a situation that you don't want to be in. It just means that you take the initiative to get out of it without fighting the situation being what it is. Okay? As I was wrapping up writing the book, I had this really great friend who in my mind, right, you know how we all have stories about our friends, oh, this one's always messy or this one's always that. In my mind, he was always fighting with authority figures, right? And then one day on Instagram, I saw that he posted something. He said, hey, if anybody knows like someone high up in American Airlines, please let me know. And right away, I'm like, this guy got into a fight. So, you know, very innocently, I'm like, hey, man, is everything okay? And he's like, yeah, everything's fine. I'm like, oh, yeah, I saw you posted this on Instagram. I'm like, do you want to grab coffee tomorrow? He's like, no, I'm really busy. I'm like, come on, I haven't seen you in a while. Like, in my mind, I had such an agenda, you know? So he agreed. And so now we're having coffee. And I'm like, so, hey, so then what happened? And he starts to tell me the story, which is that he got into a conflict with a ticket agent at the airport. And as he's telling me the story, I'm not even listening. I'm just waiting for my turn to talk, right? I'm just like, oh my God, I can't wait to give him my piece of wise advice. So he's telling me the whole thing, and finally he finishes telling me the story, and I go, well, you know what? This is your pattern, and you need to practice the shut the fuck up method. I wish my wise words would have landed that way. But my friend very calmly paused, and he looked at me in the eyes, and he said, this is exactly why I don't come to you anymore. Because I was not asking for your coaching. I wasn't asking for your advice. I just wanted a safe place to land. And you haven't been a safe place for me in a long, long time. Ouch. Exactly. Let's really make that, I really want that to land, right? Shut up. And at that moment, I thanked him for his contribution. I told him that it was going to be my last story in the book. And I really, really got it in that moment, that I'm not here to be a teacher. I'm here to be a safe space to land for the people that I love in my life as much as I can. And listen, I took responsibility because I didn't do it on purpose. I had good intentions, but it definitely created a whole new narrative in the way that I am with people in general. Imperfectly perfect. So here's another story I've never told anyone. So when my mom, the day before my mom died, I was with the doctor in my house. We had the doctor come, and he said something that had never happened before. He was like, he almost kind of looked around and he said, okay, so here's the deal. No one knows when she's gonna die. And I was like, what? He's like, the body could take a month, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a couple of days, no one knows. And then he exited the room, and something inside of me said, I gotta do a service for her. So I went to the supermarket and I bought a bunch of flowers and candles, and I put Alexa on, and I put, it was this song that kept playing over and over again. And this was the actual song that I was listening to when she passed. And it's by the singer Luridico. I don't know if you guys know who he is. And I made a documentary about her a week before she passed, and then his music is the music in the whole documentary. So this is such a special moment for me. So thank you for being with me in this moment. I'm not done yet, but just wanted to acknowledge how happy I am about this. So this term, imperfectly perfect, beautifully haunted me, and it still haunts me because I think that's what we all are. In fact, I made the final chapter of the book called Imperfectly Perfect. So what I would love for you to do, if you can, is to take out your phone and put on the camera backwards so it's like a mirror staring at you. Can you guys do that for me? We're almost done. And what I want to do is this. I want to leave you with this. The only measurement of perfection that has ever existed is the one that's staring you right back in the mirror, both inside and out, exactly the way that it is. And the sooner that you love and accept your imperfect perfection, the sooner that you'll recognize it and accept it in others. And now, don't get it twisted. Because as much as I'll remind you of your imperfect perfection and love you for it, I'll also gently nudge you with unicorns and sugar on top to always and forever. Now, if you can get up really quick and look at the person next to you. And on 3, you're gonna say, shut the fuck up. We're gonna do it together, and you're gonna do it with love, because today is the day of love. All right? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Shut the fuck up. Thank you, guys. Oh, it's not working. Okay, I just heard that it's not working, but that is my website and that is my Instagram. But here's another treat. Okay, the first 15 people that scan this, I'm gonna give you a free book that I have for you right here. So it'll show up on my list and you'll get to walk away with a book. And the rest, you're gonna have to go to Amazon and get all the goodies. Thank you so much.